Changing the oil on my John Deere, little John Deere, and I went to get the oil filter off, and this cap fit it nicely, which these caps are kind of cool when they work, especially when it's like this where you can get at it this way. But the problem is then you can't get them off. They get stuck on there. There it goes. I had to screw it back on to get it off, so it might have been better if I had used this one. But the one thing I want to do is, this is the official John Deere, and I think I can use regular car filter. So I've got this SuperTech 6607, which would be the same if it was a Fram. It would be a 6607 if you like Fram. It's pretty much the same thing. The same diameter for the gasket, and then same threads, I'm told. Or they said you can use this 7317, which is a little longer, and so this one here too has a bit of rust on it. I guess I've had it for a while. So I guess I'll use this one. And they say you're supposed to use 1540, but for diesel tractors. But I've never seen this tractor get hot at all. It barely runs off cold, and then it's winter anyway. So I'm figuring 1040 is probably good enough. So it's screwed in there okay. You can see there's room, although it's kind of close to this right here. Kind of close to that bracket right here, but I don't guess it'll ever hit. I can stick my finger in there. But one thing that was kind of funny, a lot of times you go to screw these on, you screw and screw and screw and screw before it bottoms, but this one bottomed pretty quick. But that stub isn't very big. Another thing I want to say too is, as far as good enough, when I said good enough, what I meant was thick enough. So when it, so if it calls for 1540, then when you first start the tractor, it's going to act like 15. So this one, when I first start the tractor, it's going to act like 10. But as soon as it warms up, it'll start acting like 15, 20, 30, 40 as it gets really warm. It's kind of that's the kind of the magic, I guess, of multi-grade. Back in the day, you just used 30, and when you started, it acted like 30, and when it was hot, it acted like 30. But this multi-grade is supposed to have a thicker. It's not supposed to act like 30. Like if you got a 1030, it won't act like 30 until it gets real hot. So when it's cold, it's acting like 10. That would be the difference, I think. I always like to put a little goop on the plug, because help to seal it from leaking and also help to keep it from unscrewing. And I bought another one, but I can't find it, so I've been looking for soft spots in this and cut open the soft spot. There's one right here. Cut open the soft spot and get that last little bit out. You wouldn't want this to go inside the engine, so wipe it off the edge. Next thing you gotta do is dispose of this old oil. I've been, I have a little bit of a campaign, but you know, I think if a store sells more than a quart of oil, they should have a way to, they should accept old oil, because if you buy a gallon of oil, you're probably going to generate about a gallon of used oil. It needs to be disposed of properly. So you take, basically what happens is if you've got a, well, auto parts stores don't have a mechanic associated, but they will accept the used oil. But their oil is high. Now Walmart has a little garage. They'll accept the oil. But Tractor Supply and Menards, Rural King, they don't accept used oil, and I don't think they should be allowed to sell more than a gallon, or not more than a gallon, more than a quart of oil. For instance, a 7-Eleven, they sell it by the quart, but I don't say they should have to accept used oil. Or the state needs to provide a service. Incidentally, they have to pay. They used to get money for used oil, but now they had to pay to have the used oil picked up and disposed of. And so they don't want it. Walmart doesn't want it. And incidentally, another thing, it's what I do is I just buy the oil from Walmart. I buy all my oil from Walmart. So then when I've got used oil, I take it back to Walmart. But Rural King's selling oil, Tractor Supply selling oil, Menards is selling oil. They don't take old oil. It's not right. They're trying to get the benefit out of the drawback. There's something peculiar. I think that it's time to put the oil in, and I can't. It appears that thing fell off. That's the it was a dumb thing anyway. You stick the key in here, but it's not really a key thing. You just push on something, and it looks like it's fell off. I think I could see the bar right there leaning against the negative battery terminal. And I can't open this thing up now the way it's supposed to be opened up. I'll get it open. I can't get in there at all. In my old days of breaking into cars, used a wire like this. I can grab a hold of that. I can grab it, but I can't pull it to speak of. I can see it's right there. I guess if I had a needle nose pliers, it wouldn't quite fit in that hole, I don't think. It's right there. I might be able to grab needle nose pliers. I did it. Yeah, you push on it. Push on it, this pops open. So now I'm going to have to devise a different methodology. I never did like that method anyway. Okay, so what I'm doing, I took this whole thing off, which was pretty easy. It's all... I was going to take this off, but then I thought, you know, it didn't come right away. Really, this is easier, just take this whole thing off. And then I drilled another hole higher up, so it shouldn't be able to fall out. That's my plan. And I'll put this back, see, that'll stick out. It's funny, I want to show you one more thing. These are plastic screws. I should have put the hole more over here. I thought about going straight up, but I wanted to be sure it stuck out enough now it binds a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. It'll be alright, I think. I might spray a little oil. It could be just the way I screwed it back in too. Well, I think it's pushing on it or something, but I think it'll still work. One other thing I'm going to do is write the bolt size. It's a 17 millimeter, and then the 7317, or it could be 6607. I was just going to say, I might write this number on too. It's a big number, but 6418. Made in Brazil, it says. But anyway, so I was looking at it, and it's actually a little different from the Fram. This is rubber, which I don't think that's rubber. Well, let's see, I can get that other one out and look at it. See, it's got a little, it's flipped up a little right there. I don't think that's rubber in these other ones, but I could be wrong. I'll look. And then on the inside, it's got a metal. It's got a metal protective layer, which I don't think the other ones have that. I'll look. I got one right here. I'll look at it. This is Super Tech, but they're pretty much all the same. Well, actually, I guess that is. There is a little piece of rubber right there. That is rubber. I guess it would have to be. That's your bypass, I think. And then let me see, on the inside, it's a plastic. There's a plastic protective thing. I think it's pretty much the same thing, really. Look, I've got some battery spray too, which is kind of dumb in a way. All you need is baking soda. But the thing of it is, I don't have baking soda at this minute, and I'm gonna need to get back to work, so I could just spray this on here. See, maybe that'll do something. I think that's what it's for. So it says right on the front here, turns pink on contact with acid detector, which it all turned pink. Removes corrosion, neutralizes acid. And so that's what I'm looking for. Is it pink coming out? I just thought of something. No, it's yellow coming out. And it did turn pink, I think. Pretty sure it turned pink, right? No, it's still yellow. But it's pink at places. I think I'll spray a little more on the critical area. You need a funnel with a little bit of a long snout to get in there. So I filled it up. It's about 2/3. It's kind of hard to see. New oil, and also they don't have a symbol. It's just crosshatch. And so I'm going to start it, fill the oil filter, and then fill it to the top of that crosshatch. So that gave the oil a little color, and see, it used up a little oil to fill that oil filter. I'm also going to write down how much oil it took, which looks like about a little better than 3 quarts. 5 quarts minus 2 quarts, or 1.5. 1.5's clear down here though. So it's a little better than 3 quarts. So I'm going to suggest, if you do this trick like I did, just go straight up from this hole here, about halfway, and put it right about there. I'm guessing would work pretty good. So a couple other things to note if you do this. What I do? Oh, here it is. I just cut myself on this piece of metal right here. So I'm going to watch out for that. And then the other thing I'm going to say is, that thing was really sticking out too. is because of the way this is designed, this lever actually has the engagement for those teeth. So I went to pull it. So this actually has to be pulled on, or at least this spring is supposed to push it, but I think the way I've got this binding a little bit, the spring doesn't push it. So I'm actually having to, I actually have to pull on this. You can't hardly pull it with your fingers either, it's too slippery. See how I cut myself. Pull on that when I go to close the lid. And it'll close. But I think if you move that, put that hole down lower, then you won't have that problem. So it's easy to open. You just push on it. But when you shut it, you have to pull on it to make it shut because of the way those gears engage. Those gears right there are hooked up to this lever. It's kind of simple. So if you just pull on it like that, then it'll engage. Not too bad.